Welcome back to Newsline. The Olympic men's triathlon was postponed just hours before it was due to get underway after last-ditch water quality tests in the River Seine revealed unhealthy pollution levels. It's been a source of controversy even before the Olympics started, in a blow of Olympic officials who have repeatedly vowed that the Seine will be safe for athletes to swim in. Organizers said the men's event would be delayed by 24 hours and take place immediately after the women's race on Wednesday. A joint statement from Paris 2024 and World Triathlon blamed the excessive pollution on the heavy rain that deluged the French capital on Friday and Saturday.
Well, the safety of the Seine River was always of concern. You had state officials, try to swim there just to reassure athletes. But let's bring in Aaron Akirijola, who is live in Paris. Aaron, good to see you again. Bonsoir. Now, how is this news affecting the Olympics in Paris so far?
Yeah, good evening to you, bonsoir to you, Ngozi, bonsoir, Suleiman. And let's get straight into it. Looking at it closely, this would actually upset the apple cart because already they are moving a race against time to actually meet up with several of the schedules all lined up. This is always moving like clockwork, so having an event postponed for 24 hours will mean that there will be fixture congestion, and it will actually upset the entire balance of how things will actually play out. But of course, we hear that will actually go on, talking about the triathlon for the men tomorrow after the women's triathlon actually begins. So one way or the other, we're going to be having this happen. They'll still be testing the levels of E. coli in the waters to ensure that it is safe for athletes, because they do not want athletes to actually get contaminated or also get infected or probably have the pollutions go into their system. It's unfortunate that this has happened. It's unfortunate that talking about the city of Paris, haven't spent $1.5 billion in the last decade on water treatment system, on trying to ensure that the Seine River is safe for swimming. This has actually happened, but you cannot blame that, because they do know this, that anytime there are rains and the sewage system in Paris here is flooded, sewage actually mixes with the water and actually ends up polluting the water. So what happened on Friday and Saturday, rather unfortunate, has literally thrown the whole triathlon and other swimming events at the Seine River into chaos, so to speak. But let's hope that it will be safe enough for the women to start, then the men would have their turn in the Seine River.
Well, Aaron, it's even worse for the women to jump into that water. For those who are non-Nigerians, this is what everyday Nigerian will call yama yama, something very, very disgusting and unhealthy. Even though the politicians then had jumped in to show some kind of test that it was safe, this is what we're getting. Help us make sense. Are they also making sure that after 24 hours, if this cleanup doesn't happen, what would be the alternative, sort of plan B?
It's looking like they might have to just outrightly cancel that particular event, and God forbid that actually happens, because that would mean that hopes, dreams, aspirations that I have actually gone into becoming an Olympian and having to compete at the highest level will just go down the drain. But we've not had rain since Saturday, so that means that they've been monitoring the waters, and days have actually passed to ensure that the waters that usually build up after rains, that mixes up with the sewage, that gets back into the river, will not happen. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. It's been sunny since yesterday, and they'll be hoping that the sun still shines on them, and the Greek gods probably smile on them to ensure that there are no rains, so that the water levels, or rather the contamination level in the River Seine, is actually controlled and it is safe for swimming and competition.
Now, Aaron, let's talk about our contingent. What's the latest from athletes in Paris?
Quickly speaking about our contingents, earlier on this evening, one man was in action, talking about the captain of Team Nigeria, Anu Okpeyori. He was in action in the badminton event, the sole representative for badminton for Team Nigeria, and he fought valiantly but lost ultimately to the Swiss Tobias Guenzo in 2 sets, so to speak. He rallied himself, tried to come back in the first, but ultimately Tobias didn't give him any breathing space. Won the first and the second. They were tied at 6-6 at some point, but Tobias decided to just lump up the heat and actually just lift his game to the next level. And at the end of the day, Okpeyori, who fought valiantly, has actually lost his first outing. Tomorrow he has an opportunity for redemption. Tomorrow he'll be going against China's Li Shifeng, right, in an evening event. If I'm to look at it, that will be happening by 6:30 local time here, 7:30 Nigerian time, and we'll be hoping that this time around Okpeyori will be able to rally himself, will be able to gather himself together, banish the demons from the day before and go into that particular one, because he's won African championship after African championship. These are new territories for him. These are uncharted waters for him, because the Olympics is literally the pinnacle of all sporting activities globally. The Olympics is the holy grail, and he would need to be able to shake off the jitters. He will need to be able to actually lift his game. These are the moments that count, and these are the moments you would always remember if you decide to do something extraordinary. We'll be hoping for something miraculous, because Team Nigeria, I must say, have been very poor in the opening exchanges of this Olympics. Save the day Tigress, who against all odds decided to beat top seed Australia, the opposite of Australia. Save that. Boxing has been disappointment. Table tennis disappointment. We could go on and on and on. We need some sort of relief, and we're hoping that Okpeyori will be able to deliver that tomorrow, 6:30 local time.
Well, you've been able to tell us some of the key expectations tomorrow on the Atlas for Nigeria. But before we go, with what you've seen so far, where are you hedging your bet? Which of the sports are you hedging your bet, thinking that Nigeria just might get us a medal?
Okay, so but I must actually say this: the Super Falcons will have a date with Destiny tomorrow. Also, if I'm looking at it, 3 p.m. Nigeria time, 4 p.m. local time here in Nantes, as they'll be taking on Japan, and they'll be hoping that if they can actually win that particular encounter, they will be sailing into the next round. If they don't, they will be sent packing from this particular tournament. No thanks to them is given from the Canadian national team for their espionage. They've been docked points, opening the floodgates for the Super Falcons to probably bury this particular one, and they would have to do the hard work. Go out there and score, something they've not been able to do in this particular tournament. Two games have been played, quite a lot of chances created, not one converted. So let's see if they can actually deliver that. But talking about where my bets will be on, my smart money certainly will be on someone like a Tobi Amusan. Tobi Amusan came very close in Tokyo 2020. This time around, she'll be hoping that that 4th place finish she had in Tokyo 2020 will be better, and she will be able to actually improve on that particular performance. She's had a very mixed season. After being world champion, she was accused of doping. She was suspended provisionally. She was actually cleared ultimately. The IAU were not entirely happy, but she's back on the track, right, trying to run. I hope she has her heart and her mind in the right place. We believe that she can deliver a medal or a podium finish for Team Nigeria. And also not forgetting the likes of Ese Brume in the long jump, and talking about wrestling, the Divine Oburu Dudu, who she did it at Tokyo. We'll be hoping this time around in Paris she'll be able to do it. Odunaya Dukoroye, another contender, she was very disappointing in Tokyo. She'll be hoping to make up for all that this time around when the event actually kicks on for wrestling here in Paris. Those are my smart bets, and I'm saying that at the moment it's not that wide, but we are hoping that at least our athletes get to compete and show the stuff they are made of.
Yep. Well, a good place to leave it. Thankfully, it doesn't look like we have softies in our contingent. I'd like to thank you, Aaron, for that. We'll join Aaron pretty much later in the day for more on the Paris Olympics.